Today, I'm joined by Dr Jade Khoury, founder of Rosewell Clinics. Jade is a podiatrist whose work goes far beyond feet alone. Her approach is grounded, holistic, and deeply respectful of the body as an interconnected system, looking at how our feet influence posture, movement, nervous system regulation, and overall well-being. In this conversation, we'll explore what it means to reconnect with the body from the ground up and how something as foundational as our feet can shape how we move through life, physically, emotionally, and energetically. Jade, I'm so happy to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I am really, really happy to be here as well. And thank you for having me on your platform. It's like a powerhouse platform. I love it.
Oh, thank you. We're covering so many different topics, and this is one I'm particularly interested in, so I can't wait to deep dive into it today. So, what originally led you into podiatry?
I can honestly say I was actually studying for about 10 years. I did a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food, but there was too much red tape around nutrition that time. It was primarily doctors being the gatekeepers for pharma. So
Mhm.
um, I just saw a lot of things that could be a roadblock for me in the future. And my sister was studying podiatry. So now we're both in the
No
field together.
way. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
She's all the way out in Narrabri, New South Wales, rural New South Wales. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm here in the metros area.
that's cool. I love it that
hmm
you and your sister have gone on the same journey.
Yeah. No
Does it
regrets.
does it get like competitive?
Uh no, we do different things. We overlap obviously on a lot of things, but we hardly ever talk about work
Feet.
when we're together. Yeah.
I love
At all.
that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, was there a moment where your work into podiatry shifted from treating symptoms to then seeing the whole person?
Yes, I can say after so many years of doing podiatry that my work has definitely evolved from it's definitely evolved far beyond feet. I realized that doing like thousands of consults that the foot is rarely the problem. It's just the messenger.
Mm,
So when I would have women coming in, I was just seeing so many cases of psoriasis, dermatitis, fungal infections, nail infections. And I'm just like, they're just getting cookie cutter treatment in a health system that is just preparing them to fail and not get
mm,
the answers that they need. So having studied before, I just started to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Just started researching a lot more, and I just started to put the puzzles like together for them. And I'm like, listen, this is not sounding right. It keeps relapsing, remitting, going and coming back. It's not going to be fixed with just an over-the-counter treatment. Half of the time they were just given cortisone, so they weren't even getting the right
mm.
topical treatments in the first place.
And it's all connected, right?
Mm,
All of it's connected from, our pelvic health to the lymphatics to our feet, right? And if we're just sort of
mm,
treating parts of it, it's not going to all be in flow. So that makes sense. And the feet are foundational, right? That's what grounds
100%.
you to the earth. Yeah.
Yes, it reflects stress patterns, nervous system load, inflammation, posture, strength, gut health. So yeah, I like to treat the body as an ecosystem, not just a body part. Like it's not
Mm,
disassociated from your body just because we pack them in feet all day and we don't see them. There's no problem, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. It's
mm,
constantly reporting back to your brain. We've got over
yeah.
200,000 nerves in our feet. So you're 100% right. Like it's just all talking to each other. So
Yeah.
that's why they say grounding's important.
Totally. But also that got me thinking about how as women, we stuff ourselves into these tiny little stilettos and strappy shoes and ignore all the signals and all the pain and all the throbbing and all the blisters and the squashed toes and the corns and the or everything, right?
Just
So,
just a major red flag, and it's just screaming at us all day. I actually
yeah.
just saw a product that's come out, and I don't want to say the name because I'll probably get sued, but it's a local anesthetic for your feet when you're wearing heels, just
Wow.
so you can last the whole night. Might sound good in theory, but what will happen later? What are the repercussions? There's always a trade-off somewhere.
And also, just with your wisdom as a podiatrist, and my wisdom as a 50-year-old, I know, because it's like there's no way I'm going to be uncomfortable anymore, and I'm just going to wear what I'm going to wear, and I don't give a shit. But for
Yeah.
the in-betweens that don't often listen to those red flags, it's good to talk about it. So why are feet such an important and often overlooked part of health?
Overlooked because one, like I said, I think it's out of sight, out of mind. Most musculoskeletal issues creep up on you slowly, slowly, slowly. So you'll get a niggle, you're like, oh, it's okay, I'll leave it, like it's fine, until you get the blaring pain that is just constant. And they're like, oh shit, I gotta go get this fixed ASAP. I think because it doesn't involve their energy, it doesn't involve something systemic, people will just leave it to the side. So that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, because you automatically go to something like you go to see a physio for things or chiros for other things, right? Like
Yeah.
the common offenders like your hips and your shoulders and your neck, right? And often the feet are overlooked.
Hmm.
But yeah, that makes sense. Even my trainer actually talks to me about how, like, when I'm doing something, he's like, "Why is your left foot going weird?" So, just creating that awareness. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I
Yeah.
thought I was doing the exercise perfectly, but it's interesting. And I like watching people when you see them walking down the street, and I'm sure you do that. That'd be a
I
part
love
of your
people
job.
watching.
Yeah, where people's ankles roll in and you can see they're dumping in one hip and one ankle's rolling in or one shoulder's higher, like the biomechanics of everything.
Biomechanics.
Yeah, really interests me just how we all walk around a bit wonky and
Yeah,
that
the
becomes our
study of
normal.
locomotion. Yeah. Is the body is so intelligent that it compensates until it can't compensate no more. It's got no other joints to give. It's got no other muscle to give. It's just saying, nah, I've had enough. So that's when someone comes and sees a physio and podiatrist usually.
That's right. And it's not like daily maintenance, it's more fix me, I have a problem. It's like anything, right?
Hmm.
So how do feet influence our posture, our movement, and the way we hold ourselves? Like what are we talking about here?
That's a really great question, and I'm glad you asked it because your foot is the first thing that absorbs shock and attenuates load in your gait cycle. Everyone walks, provided, that you're not wheelchair bound, but it's the first thing that accepts and forces and accepts load when we're walking. So you've got physics, all your forces down, up, um, and ideally you want your foot to be a tripod. You want it to roll in, roll out, so pronate and supinate when it's supposed to. So when your midfoot or your arch collapses, your shins or your tibia starts to rotate in, and then it just follows suit up the chain. So when your tibia rotates in, so does your thigh bones. So your femur rolls in. Then your pelvis, you start to see it's like those little butt winks where the ladies are sort of like sticking their butts out. That's called anterior pelvic tilt. And what that does, it causes a lot of lumbar pelvic compression. So you
Mm.
get your lower back pain, you'll get your patellofemoral pain, so runner's knee pain. Um,
So
and
is
there's
that
also
essentially like a sway back? Is that what you mean?
a
Like a bit of
sway back. Yep. Yeah. Almost like
okay.
a lumbar lordosis.
Okay, that's
Um,
me.
yeah. There's some talks now that there's possibly it could be indirect or not, but it could cause some gut tension because there's a lot of tension around the musculoskeletal areas. I will say also that I've had a couple of women come in, and because of how long their feet have been rolling in and they've been pregnant, so their arches have collapsed even further. They're having painful sex because of the positioning and the tightness that it has developed in their muscles. So they've had to go back to a women's health physio and then go through a proper rehab program. Some of them had to get orthotics and good footwear. So I thought I'll just throw that
Mm.
in there.
No, that's great. I think that's a really good story to interconnect it all together, right? And I had Kim Vopney on, and where we spoke about that pelvic health. We are holding on tight, but often, like you're saying, it's maybe not just from pelvic issues, but other influences as well. So I think it's
Yeah.
really good to put that out there. From a holistic perspective, how do you see foot health connecting to whole body health? From physically to neurologically even and emotionally?
This is another great question. I like to throw in some TCM stuff because I really admire a lot of
What's TCM?
traditional Chinese medicine therapies and practitioners.
Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
traditional Chinese medicine's been around for thousands of years, and they've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom to educate us on. And I think in the Western world, we're still trying to catch up and not see this as a woo-woo science. Everything's been documented quite thoroughly. So when we're talking about energy, like everything's energy, everything's a vibration. With TCM, there are certain meridians in the foot that connects to your organs and your gut. So for example, you've got your kidney meridian bridge, which connects from the foot, and that holds your vitality and your fear, and your plantar fascia overlays the energetic pathways and it ties into
Mm.
grounding. So that's why some people say, like, we should ground. And whether someone believes in meridians or not, the nervous system density in the feet is undeniable. There are over 200,000 nerves in the feet, and it makes it a sensory powerhouse. And it's significant because it's constantly providing feedback to your brain, and it allows for rapid adjustments. So when we're walking, your foot is constantly adjusting. So you're constantly adjusting to movement and stability. Your foot connects to your gut health. Your foot can connect to your nervous system as well if you're in pain, especially. But if
Mhm.
you like, I can touch on the gut foot axis.
Yes, please. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Because
Yeah.
since you're the inside out gut coach.
Totally. Yes. I have suffered from IBS symptoms my whole life and things like SIBO, which I'm in the
Yeah.
process of shifting. But it's great to look at it from this holistic perspective, integrating the whole body. So no, please share.
Thank you. Um, So earlier on, I touched on women coming in with fungal infections, not just in the nails, but also their skin, rosacea on their feet, eczema on their knees, etc. Would give them the creams to start off with, just to say, listen, let's just start off with this first. If it goes and it doesn't come back, maybe it's just a hygiene thing. We just need to reset the immune system, the immune barrier. However, I found that it would relapse. Some of them would relapse quite quick. So we started to investigate further, and there was a gut dysbiosis. So it would cause systemic inflammation in their body. And that's when they'll
Mhm.
get the rosacea. The fungal infections will flare up, just become so red and angry. I don't know if you probably know this yourself, that having gut dysbiosis is a major contributing factor to 70% of illnesses.
Mhm.
That's not including just your GI, but your immune system. It's connected to type 2 diabetes now, neurological conditions, and cancer. So the more systemic inflammation that you have, there's a proliferation of your cytokine cells, and you just get more inflammation, just gets more angry. And when you're
Mm.
stressed, it just explodes, it proliferates, because your body is just holding on to so much anxiety and fear. And I think that's why peptide industry has boomed. BPC 157, TB 500, it's going gangbusters. I swear everyone I talk to is on a peptide because it's accelerating the healing at a cellular level and reducing inflammation. I don't know if it's getting to the root cause of the problem, but I've definitely seen some good, like really good results.
Mm.
So, the
It's
body,
fascinating. And in terms of, like you said, like fungal infections, could that be internally as well, like
yes.
white coating on the tongue? Is tinea like the peeling skin?
When you see redness, you can see the
Mm-hmm.
wheels, like peeling of the skin.
Okay.
When you can see sometimes it doesn't have to have peeling. It could be chalkiness. So like a
Mm?
white chalk, dusty
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
f- look could be that you could see like little red dots or like little orange dots. It just insinuates that it's wanting to blister or preparing to blister. So that is what a fungal infection will typically look like in my lens.
And so somebody could have a
And
low
wrinkly skin.
grade. Okay. And so someone could have a low grade infection and not even know it, like a candida fungusy kind of thing going on internally as well as externally, even though it may not
Mm,
present fully symptomatic, there can be some underlying things going on.
for sure. So when you start
Mm.
seeing skin infections in the foot, it might not necessarily be candida. Most of the time, it's actually a dermatophyte fungal infection. That is, candida's probably 70% of your fungus, but that other 30% is your dermatophyte family. And they're quite hard to treat because often there's a mold involvement.
And is that from going to a public bathroom and not wearing your thongs? Or is that from going to a pool? Or, how do you get those type of infections going on?
Well, there's a breakdown in your immune system. There's a breakdown somewhere. Your body doesn't just break randomly, it compensates until it can't. So,
Mm.
if you've gone, your body should be able to fight off pathogens and microbes. That's what our skin is for. It's the barrier. But when you see a break somewhere, there's something else going on.
Mm.
So it could be systemic, or it could just be that one freak off, like that one freak thing that just happens and it's based on hygiene and
Mm.
it's the straw that breaks the camel's back and it just
Sure.
cascades along. I hope that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, it does. No, this is great. What patterns do you see, Jade, when you see people disconnected from their feet and their alignment?
Usually I see high stress, like you see in their eyes. I never studied iridology, but you know when you can just tell through someone's eyes and it's their posture and how they walk in. You can just see they're just stressed out to the max. They're just
Yeah.
so upset, maybe within themselves. They're maybe got a lot of things going on at home. They've come in to see me because they've got pain. They've got a low pain tolerance now because they're not sleeping well at night from the pain. So it just cascades on again.
It's almost like you said, back to that Chinese medicine. It's like that energy exchange.
Hmm.
When people come in, you have the vibrant people that come in that are energized, and then you've got people that are fatigued or
Yeah.
unwell, and that emits a certain type of energy, right?
Yeah. So sometimes you just got to go cleanse the room after some patients.
Yes, smudge stick. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that energy you absorb as well as a clinician, and you want to do the best that you can. Or I want to. I'm sure everyone that gets into the allied health or medical industry, you want to do the best that you can. That's why you want to do no harm and do the best for the client. So you got to do what's also best for you and set boundaries. And if you need to meditate and cleanse the room, you got to do that. Like you got to take a
Mm.
5-minute break to take in the next client, refresh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
having those protective boundaries around ourselves and
Yeah.
those little rituals that help you stay grounded and connected. So I wanted to share a story because I trained with my trainer this morning, and
Hmm.
I told him that you were coming on the podcast today, and
This is
I
going
said
to be
how it's
good.
all connected, and then he shared a story. He's a sports physiologist, and he said he remembered a time many, many years ago. He's been in the game for a really long time. And I'm sure I'm going to slaughter his story, but he mentioned how when he first realized that the body was all connected, and a teacher that was teaching something, it was on a tennis player whose swing was just, they couldn't get the swing right, no matter, they couldn't get enough depth or range or whatever. And everyone was focusing on the shoulder, thinking the shoulder was the issue. And Then this guy came in. I can't remember if he was a podiatrist or a physio or what he was, but he watched the tennis player and his swing over and over and over again. And then after a while, he said, I've got it. The issue's coming from your right toe. There's something going on in your right toe, which there was. And so once they
Yeah.
fixed the toe, then the swing got better. But I love that story. And I'm sure you've got many stories like that. This is what the foundation of this show is for me. And the heart of it is self reconnection through whichever way you find it. There are so many different ways, right? So when something's not
Mm.
working properly, you have to look at the rest. So do you have a story like that, Jade, that you can share where you relieved someone's pain, but it impacted them on a bigger level?
I have a really good one, and this was late last year. I went to, it was an event, and I had a stall there, just doing like little mini consultations for clients that would walk through. It's getting quiet. It wasn't as busy as planners made it out to be. And I met this lady, and she's like, "Are you a podiatrist?" And I'm like, "I sure am. How can I help?" and and she just threw her shoes off, dumped herself on the, and she's like, "My feet, can I swear on this show?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
feet are my feet are effed. My feet are effed." And, she sees a kinesiologist, she sees a chiro, and she's like, "I just love your energy. I think you're the one for me." She had bilateral, so both of her feet were in so much pain, and she was trying to get back into her exercise physiology program. So I strapped her feet. When we strap the feet, it just provides neurosensory feedback to the brain. And we're going to see if it offloads some of the pressure and force that goes through there. And I made a booking for her, a consultation for her inside the clinic so we can have a more thorough assessment. And she had put on weight throughout the years. She knew everything that needed to be done. She just couldn't get there because her feet were so sore.
Mm.
And we decided to go down the route of, she was a good candidate for custom made orthotics, and we changed up her footwear. We gave her a rehab program starting from the foundations, and which was foot and ankle strength, lumbar pelvic strength. And then we sent her back to her exercise physiologist for whole body conditioning. And then she'll do aqua aerobics on the side. When she got her orthotics into her shoes, her whole posture just changed. It went from rounded shoulders to being open, and she just noticed the difference straight away. Now, with some clients, she was very receptive as a person. So you could feel the benefits straight away. She's much like my husband. My husband will just, he's my guinea pig. If people come like from Metagenics or bioceuticals to try products, his body is so receptive to new
And some
things.
people are just more in
Yeah,
tune than others, right?
she's so
Yeah.
intuitive with her body, so she felt it straight away. So she was taken back, and she was so happy, and she goes, "I knew you were the one. I knew this was going to help me." So she's doing well. She's lost about 10 or 15 kilos, and she's back full steam ahead training. So I was
I
really happy with
love
that. And so was
that.
she.
And that just makes me think about from a somatic perspective or a polyvagal perspective, just that being able to connect with somebody and feel in a safe space to be able to
Mm.
then be treated or unwind. And I think the right practitioner can do that for people. But often, if it's not a good fit, pushing shit up a hill, like it's not working. So I
Yeah.
love that story. And that just made me think of that safety is paramount when it comes to treating ourselves. You have to be with the right person and feel
Yeah.
connected in order to heal. So no, I love that story.
Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah. Talk to me about feet cramping. Is it something simple like a magnesium deficiency, or is there something else going on from a biomechanics perspective or even neurologically? Or is it just magnesium, a lack of?
Like, this is a good question. And I get people coming in quite often that their foot will cramp. I think the running stat now at the moment is roughly 40% to 60% of Australians are deficient in magnesium.
Mm.
And that's because our agriculture is not regeneratively farmed or sustainably farmed. So a lot of the minerals are depleted through the soils. And that has a knock-on effect to how our food is grown, and we're not getting the right amount of magnesium. So a lot of people, it can be just a magnesium issue. They feel great if they spray it or if they drink it at night as a supplement. Other times it could just be that their body's not conditioned. So when I'm saying their body's not conditioned is they might not have enough strength. They might not have enough muscle mass through their body. So that's another avenue. Or could be poor circulation as well. Poor circulation, not enough blood flow, and things just start to cramp up. So that's another avenue as well.
Yeah, interesting. I do tend to get that myself. I do take a lot of magnesium supplements. It's the holy grail for me. But I'll be in Pilates and then my toes will start to separate, which is weird because I train 5, 6 days a week. So, but perhaps it's not the right type of conditioning
Mm-hmm.
that's happening. So that's interesting. Okay, I'll come to see you.
Activate
We'll
your
stop
big
talking
toe.
about me. Yeah, okay.
Activate your
So
big toe when you do your calf raises. That's a really big thing.
So that's going to lead me to another one. So you spoke about grounding
Mhm.
and the importance of that, but what does it actually mean from a clinical perspective? And is there science behind it? So you're talking about grounding, like no shoes on the ground, toes all splayed out.
You can have toe spreaders that they do no harm, but you being on the ground, just say sand, grass, you're getting energy return from the earth. It's not really spoken about much, but you're getting tactile feedback from different terrains.
It's
So
like little sensors in our feet, like
sensory,
you
that's
said,
right.
right? If your feet are like stuffed into the wrong fitting shoes, and then once you take your shoes off, your toes naturally splay out,
Wait,
and then you can walk on the grass, and you get the little sensory things going on in your toes and
it
all
takes
across your
roughly
feet.
2 weeks. Yeah, it takes roughly 2 weeks because we pack them in shoes all day. I want you to try something for me next time you go into the gym.
Mm.
You do calf raises. Obviously, your trainer gets you to do calf raises.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he's getting the
Yeah.
sack. I'm sorry.
He's going to listen to this. Yeah.
Are you training with your shoes on when you do calf raises?
When I come into the gym and I don't have my shoes on, he always says, "Oh, good, you're not wearing your shoes." So
Okay.
that I figure, okay, that's a good thing. I shouldn't. So I'm just training at home as well. So I shouldn't
Okay.
have to wear my
That's right.
shoes.
Are
But
you
some
wearing
gyms require you to wear shoes,
where?
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to try this. Try having shoes on and
Mm-hmm.
doing a calf raise. Then do a calf raise barefoot and try and activate your big toe. So when you go
Okay.
up into your calf raise, I want you to drive through your big toe. And you notice it's
Mm.
a whole different activation of a muscle group. You will notice that it's more
Mm.
on the inner border, so your medial side of your calf rather than just the outer border. So that's how much training barefoot or, doing something sensory to actually activate something that you want to activate,
Mm.
that's what you do.
Interesting. I remember around 8 years ago, there was that sort of whole movement, those funny looking shoes that look like gloves.
Mhm.
I've got a pair of those somewhere. And
Barefoot
they're
shoes, yep.
quite yes, and they're quite uncomfortable, right? It takes a while to get used to because they really spread your toes apart. But you mentioned something else, that the toe spreaders. What are is that what you're talking about? Are they toe spreaders, or is there another
Uh,
device?
no, there's just like these things that you can buy on Amazon, and you'll see like probably 1,000 of influencers trying to promote something, but you can put these little silicone or rubber devices, like when you go get a pedicure.
A pedicure.
On the
Mm-hmm.
side, yeah. And they've got those little toe separators so you don't get nail polish on your toes. Well, it's similar to that.
What?
And it
And
just
you
spreads
wear them
and it spreads your toes.
with
No, you
shoes on?
can't you
No.
can't you can't wear them with shoes. It just defeats the
Okay.
purpose. You gotta do that barefoot. I've
Mm.
never done it before, to be honest with you. So I'm not gonna
Mm.
be throwing shade at it. Some people it really works for. They've got really upsetting feet to look at. So I get them to do exercises and provides them a lot of relief. So, yeah.
I grew up in Queensland, and I spent majority of my life barefoot or in thongs, in rubber thongs. I
God's
remember
country up
we
there.
yes, we used to live on this acreage, and my mum would go, "Don't go out barefoot. Be careful of the brown snakes. Make sure you've got your thongs on." I was like, "Wow, it's really gonna help me, mum."
Yeah, absolutely.
It was too hot to wear any other shoes. So I've always been comfortable not wearing shoes, but it's fascinating for me for people that feel uncomfortable or they don't like seeing people walking around barefoot, like it's sort of like a germaphobe kind of thing going on, especially where we live. Perhaps people don't like the no shoe kind of policy,
Yeah,
I
we've made it
find.
a customary kind of thing, etiquette, as we
Yes.
would say. It's an etiquette to not be barefoot. So when we see someone walking
Yes.
down the street barefoot, it's like,
And
"What are
we
you
think
doing, mate?
dirty.
What
Yes.
are you doing, mate?"
Yes. Yeah. It's really interesting. So, how often should we be going barefoot on that topic? So, just say we're in shoes all day, people that have got an office job, like how often would you recommend people doing barefoot and grounding themselves?
Do it every day. Like, as soon as you get home, throw your shoes off. I'm sure everyone just can't wait to take their shoes and socks off as soon as they get home, just like we can't
Mhm.
wait to throw our bra off and take our makeup off for the day. It's just a necessity. So, if you can spend like 5 minutes of your day that just for yourself going outside, if you have a backyard, or if you're at a park, if you've got a park close by, just spend that 5 minutes on your lunch break, take your shoes off and put your feet on the grass. It's also a good, wellness practice. It's hygiene for yourself. So, stress and cortisol is a massive, massive topic. It's just very, I don't know what's the word. It's a buzzword. High cortisol, stress, and, poor sleep leads
Yeah.
to a lower pain tolerance. Like even having one shitty night's sleep
Mhm.
reduces your pain threshold by 20 or 30%.
Totally. I know it does for me. But I love that because it is about honoring your time, tapping in, self reconnecting, just doing something purposeful for yourself, just to get yourself out of that high cortisol stress state. Just doing something as simple as taking your shoes off in the park for 5 minutes a day and reactivating all those little sensory things going on your feet can make a huge difference. I love that.
I think you like this word, sensory corpuscles.
Ooh, corpuscles. I like that.
Crazy.
I keep doing my little fingers
The
out
thing is,
like
so
they're
now
like
you're just
little
saying it's sensory corpuscles now.
corpuscles. I'll have to remember that. So, how does the nervous system show up through the feet and the way we move? I like it how we've touched a little bit on the neurological side of things. I find this
Mm.
really interesting. So, can you elaborate on that?
I'm going to refer to a case study that we had because I think this is really relevant because he came in with Achilles tendinopathy. So he's had it for 2 years plus, works a high profile job. So he travels internationally. He has a kid, but he just couldn't get rid of the pain that he had, and he loved running. So we had to
Mm,
deload him and take him back. So pull him off the runs, lower how many kilometers he was hitting a week. We were doing shockwave. He was getting better. Then he would relapse. And I could just see that this guy is just so stressed out. He would just come in. He doesn't talk. You just see it in his eyes underneath. And I'd ask him questions during my subjective history taking, like, do you take 5 minutes to yourself? Like, what do you do? What do you practice meditating? Do you journal? Do you go to the gym? Do you take time out for yourself? And he's like, I don't have time. The pressures of life, bills, this, that, add on some weight to it. And I just go, how bad does it have to get to make a change? 95% of our behaviors are subconscious. If someone can't even sit for 5 minutes for themselves without reaching their phone, getting distracted, being uncomfortable with yourself, that's not discipline. Like your nervous system is conditioned just to pick up your phone and just distract yourself. And he went on a retreat to Bali. It was one of those silent retreats, and they would do sound healing, and he said he was jumping. He was actually jumping and he came back
Mm.
with no pain. He came
Wow.
back to Sydney with no pain. I'm like,
Yeah.
it took a 7-day retreat in Bali for you to reset your nervous system in order for you to say, like, it was his Achilles heel, like literally it's his Achilles heel
Yeah.
that got healed because it was his nervous system that was attaching to that pain spot
Mm.
for him. Like some people it could be shoulder pain. It might not be just physiological. It could
Mm.
be an emotional store.
100%. Yeah, no, I love that.
Mm,
And your body is always communicating with you. I always say, if it's like, "Oh, my shoulder's sore," it's like, it's not often just from a biomechanical perspective. A lot of the time, it's trapped emotion, trauma or whatever that's stored, or simply just not listening to your body. It's your body's way of saying, "Hey, slow down, I'm cooked." Like, "You're not
yeah.
listening. Okay,
Yeah,
here's a
that's
warning
right.
sign. Throw in one. Okay, now here's another one." And then it takes people to fall apart to actually go do something for themselves or seek the help that they need. So, it's wonderful to be able to help people connect to that, because I think once you understand that and have that awareness, it's a game changer.
100%. You can't out supplement and you can't out train a dysregulated nervous system.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
So, what impact do modern footwear and surfaces and busy lifestyles have on foot health? We spoke about the stilettos or being stuffed into ill-fitting shoes. What about surfaces and things like that?
So we live in a concrete jungle in Sydney. Shiny Gold Coast, you've got some beautiful
Sand?
beaches and sand, and you've got me a bit more still of a natural lifestyle up there. We used to walk on dirt roads. Again, when you've got natural ground, you've got energy return from the earth. When you're walking in a concrete jungle or concrete floors, tiles, hardwood engineered floors, you've got vertical ground reaction forces and it's providing you no energy return. So when we're walking 2.5 times our body weight. Add in your body weight, add in gravity. If you start to run, you're running 6 times your body weight on dead, on non-energy returning ground. So it does have an impact because when I've got clients coming in and they're working, they're caterers or they're flight attendants or they're retail workers, if they just are on flooring, like hardwood flooring or concrete floors, their feet just break down and they start getting lower back pain, knee pain, plantar fasciitis, Achilles issues. It's one of my external risk factors that I want to know through my history taking.
I mean, it sounds really important. Like everybody should see a podiatrist. Like we are just talking about, most people only go when they've got an issue. But from a maintenance perspective, you've got to go, okay, what do I do for a living? Am I on my feet all day? What kind of surface am I on? What kind of shoes am I in? How often am I elevating my legs or feet or grounding? All of that. I mean, yes, it makes perfect sense to book in with a podiatrist, the right
Oh, well,
podiatrist.
the right one, that's right.
Yes, one that you connect really well with, and
That's right.
that would help, yeah. So, how does stress translate physically through the body, starting at the ground?
I really need to think about this because it's multi-layered. I just said before that you can't out supplement or out train something when you're stressed out, but movement and recovery are like your two non-negotiables, and muscle mass is really important. Even when you're stressed out, your muscle and your muscle is going to hold up your whole skeletal system together. Recovery is just as important. How does that move through the translate from the feet? Well, your feet are the foundation. And if you're fatigued and your energy is low, your and your body's not conditioned, your body is going to collapse. Your muscles are going to give way because it's not conditioned with the stress levels are at. I like
Mm.
to think as muscle as your metabolic currency. It serves as your primary metabolic currency because, you know, it's not acting for just your movement. but it's your central regulator of your glucose disposal. It regulates your insulin and your cortisol. So cortisol's a massive buzzword. That's your stress as well. So if you're moving with intention, you're going to be doing yourself a service. If they've got issues with hormones, it will help you to regulate. If they're trying to lose weight, that's part of their stress in life. Well, it will oxidate your fat better. 1 kilo of muscle burns 3 times more fat than fat. So it burns 3 times more calories than fat.
Right. Yeah.
So that's just when I hear women saying, I don't want to go to the gym, it's not good for me. Well, if you're stressed, it's a great thing. Like, it's that time for yourself. You wanted to tone and lose weight. Well, 1 kilo of muscle burns 3 times more calories than fat does. So it only makes sense to increase your muscle mass.
And
So I
even
think I
just
just went,
Oh, I love that. And even to that point, after a big meal, going for a 10-minute walk, there's all these studies around the worst thing you can do is to go lay, just start scrolling or have a big meal and sit on your ass because it's just going to go straight to your ass, really. So you have to get up and move, and it helps support your digestion as well. So I love it. After a big meal, taking the dog for a walk around the block, that's a
yeah,
definite evening ritual for me. So
100%.
no, that
Yeah.
makes absolute sense of what you just said. So what are some gentle ways people can begin to reconnect with their feet?
Okay. A 10-minute walk after a meal is a great one. I love that. I think it's just
Barefoot if we can.
barefoot if you can. If not, just put some good running shoes on, go for a walk, take your kids with you, take the dog if you just want to be on your own. I like this one that Rachel told us about in our latest workshop, and that was legs up the wall. Just to help with that lymphatic drainage. So it just
An
pulls all
oldie
that
but a goodie.
interstitial, yeah, pulls out all that interstitial out from your interstitial fluid out from your feet and just helps it to drain. I think mindful practices, just taking 3 slow cleansing breaths and calf
Yeah.
raises while you're brushing your teeth. That's a great one.
Mm. Yeah, I know. I learned that with Rachel with the
Yeah,
lymphatics. That's amazing. What about
yeah.
things like, I love going to my local little Thai massage place where they do the foot rub and
Oh, that's the
reflexology.
best. That's
I
the
mean, how good
best.
is that? Yeah,
That is
that
the
is.
best. And oh, you can't beat it. They just know. They just know.
And you have those tender spots and those sore spots. I'm always pulling up the Chinese reflexology chart to go, oh, what was that? Oh, that was my liver section, or that was my, so it's good to sort of.
What anger and resentment are you holding on
Yes,
to?
totally. Got hormonal rage or lack of hormonal.
Well,
Oh,
maybe. Um, we were talking about your muscle being metabolic currency. And I think that's really important to touch on because I have so many women coming in and their feet are often, they will come in because they've got heel pain. They don't know, it's just been ongoing. But you look at them, you analyze, you take your history, your medical history, you do your functional assessments. And part of my functional assessments is doing muscle testing as well. And their bodies are so deconditioned, there's not enough muscle mass. I stress if I could shout it from the rooftops, this is a hill I'm prepared to die on. Like, muscle mass is so important, and
yeah,
strength training and getting adequate amounts of protein is so paramount because women lose muscle mass faster after 30. It's usually
yeah,
roughly like 3 to 8% per decade. And then when we hit 60, which is my mum's age, it's 30%.
yeah,
30% of your muscle mass is wasted if you don't maintain and increase it. However, if you have higher muscle mass, this happens. Good things. I don't want to say just the bad things. Like, you've got 45% improved glucose and insulin sensitivity. So your muscles, your skeletal muscle is like responsible for 70 to 90% of glucose disposal. So it gets rid of that glucose. Higher muscle mass, which is also really important to me because my mum did have osteopenia, but she reversed that. And how did she reverse that? Because muscle mass, like having higher muscle mass, is a critical protective factor in osteoporosis. So women who don't train, women who don't have high amounts of protein or adequate amount of protein are almost 13 times their odds of having osteoporosis compared to women who don't have sarcopenic issues. So they don't have
Mm.
muscle wastage.
Yeah. And the thing is, we can reverse it, by lifting heavy weights. And I think so many of us get the conditioning around skinny is better than strong. And so many women get scared of weights because they think, oh, I'm just going to bulk up. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. So they think, oh, I'm going to get too muscly. I don't like that look. But it is. I know myself, since I've upped my weights, you just feel like you could take on the world. The energy that it gives you, I feel strong, I feel toned. I prefer it than Pilates any day, lifting heavy weights. It is just what I prefer to do, and my body responds really well to it. And I think given the chance, everybody's body responds well to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a
Pilates is
great
great.
message.
It is great. It's great like once, like, a couple of days of the week, but strength training 3 times a week, you can't compare. It's like apples and oranges.
My Pilates teacher is hardcore. She does a lot of heavy weights included into the Pilates. So it's a really good class. But I wanted to touch on the metabolic issue and feet because I have a horse. And yeah, well, I've got a
Oh!
couple. My daughter's an equestrian rider,
Oh, yeah,
but when
that's right. I saw that.
we had a pony that had laminitis. And so laminitis is a metabolic issue. And so that's when they eat the sweet grass and then they get a rotation in their pedal bone and it can kill them, because the whole pedal bone just
Oh.
rotates. So the feet, so, you look at people don't often relate the two together, but the feet is the same in humans. It's sounding
Mhm.
like your feet are impacted by any kind of metabolic issues. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, we're mammals. We're still animals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
quite similar. And horses are the most, we can learn so much off them.
Yeah.
They're so majestic.
Totally.
But
They are.
that's a really good analogy. That's a
Mm.
really good
Yeah.
analogy.
Well, it rotates around and it pushes out their hooves.
Laminitis. I'm gonna write that down.
Mhm. Yeah.
Laminitis.
Check it out. So, Jade, before we wrap up, I'd love to offer a moment of reconnection, a few gentle questions I ask every guest. So, what are the simple ways you reconnect with yourself each day besides calf raises?
Um, uh, in the morning, I've been getting up 15 minutes earlier, and I meditate. And
Mm,
at night, I also pray.
mm,
I believe that there's something higher than myself. So that's given me a lot of faith and hope that a lot of things will change in the world.
mm,
Um, my outlet is going to the gym. So that's my time for myself. So that is a way that I can feel connected to my body again, and be in gratitude that I can actually move and do this because not a lot of people can do that. So that's a chance for me to reconnect and with my body and feel grateful that I have this ability to do this and I don't want to take it for granted. Another practice that I love is actually going to the farmer's market and buying my fresh produce, the produce that I want to pick because it's going to nourish my body. And I know it's good for me. I know it's good for my family. And I want to have this practice because when I have kids one day, they're going to see what mum does. They're going to see that she goes to the farmer's market, she goes to the health food store. She doesn't just buy shit quality, she goes and trains. These are practices that your kids are going to see. It's monkey see, monkey do. So my mum, this is why I think I got into the allied health industry. It's because of my mum. My
mm,
mum never, McDonald's was like a treat, like once a month or something. And I haven't had fast food or soft drinks or carbonated drinks in over 15 years now. When I did my science and nutrition degree, there was just something that just turned me off. And she went early on to see naturopaths, not just doctors. So I have to thank her for that. And I'm really so indebted that she had that open mind, especially for an old school Arab. So it's usually just whatever the doctor says is gospel,
Yeah.
but she sort of disrupted the status quo. And I
Yeah,
think that's
because
passed
it's
on to me.
having the ability to understand that we know our bodies best. While there are times when we need a specialist and a doctor, but I think sometimes we rely heavily on other
Mm,
people to fix us. And I think your mum's very clever because we do have an innate wisdom inside of us.
mm.
And it's really important to teach our children that as well, that we can become self sufficient if we nourish and look after our body in the way that it deserves to be looked after. Angers me when you see all these like Domino pizza ads and all like the Coke deals with this and that. I get so infuriated because it's like, why are we selling this shit? It's not food, people. Anything in a packet is not food,
Yeah.
unless you've got nuts or whatever. But you know what I mean. But also, I want to touch on how you spoke about the ritual of going to the gym and prayer and meditation. It's it's such a powerful way to connect with yourself and also understand that instead of putting things on your to-do list, it's really important to look at it like the things that you get to do.
Yeah.
Like you touched on, so many people don't get to have the life that we have.
Mhm.
So it needs to be reframed when you're whinging, complaining, and not going to the gym or, whatever excuse you've got. It's something you get to do. It's a choice at the end of the day. So I love that you touched on that. What has your body taught you?
It's taught me to be confident because I was a student when I first went to the gym. I was 18 years old. I had a job and I put all my money together and I paid to see the top personal trainer who was like an exercise physiologist. So I invested in myself from a young age. I always did activities, but to go into a gym from such a young age to pay myself, I think that was an investment for me. And what that taught me, my body taught me is that my posture means confidence, even when I feel shit inside. My body is a temple. It really is to me. And you just see the power in a woman just giving birth. That is something that you want to embody. The woman's body is so capable, it's so powerful, it holds a lot of strength and feminine energy. Almost like just that kind of brings me to tears because I wanna do that one day.
And I'm sure you will.
What
Yeah,
what does it mean to you?
you're asking me? Oh, well, now I love that we've reversed. Oh, I'm not used to this, but gosh, it's taught me so much. It's taught me that I need to slow down. It's taught me that s- support is everything.
Mhm,
It's taught me to go in a lot, especially since turning 50. And you find that most women will say that something happens when you turn 50. Something sort of forces you to go back into yourself. It's like coming home to yourself.
mhm.
And I think we're outward seeking when we're younger, with externally seeking. And then when we hit a certain age, once we've raised the children and something changes, and it's almost like we have this permission to come back home. And I think that's what we're
Oh,
seeking our whole life.
I've got
Yeah.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh, I'm
beautiful.
feeling emotional now too.
Uh,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. It's like for a 34-year-old to a 50-year-old,
Yeah.
this is gonna be
Yeah.
us one day.
And you
It's so
have to love on yourself. And
yeah.
I think it's really important to understand how we speak to ourselves, how we show up. And what I notice about women is that in our 20s and whatever, we fight each other and there's a bit of kind of competitiveness or
We're
an
still
edge.
learning.
Yes, but when we hit a certain age, we sort of come together. And when women come together, we can move mountains.
Yeah,
We
we're
really can.
unstoppable.
So it's just, oh, I love it that you're feeling it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, because you're a mum, you're
Yeah.
at
Of
that
three.
stage in your life of 3. You can now look in hindsight to the mum that is in her 30s, that is having kids. She's being a sacrificial mum, trying to put herself together, and the kids, but you can see that she's losing herself, the
Mhm.
weight stacking on her. I don't even wanna talk about her appearance, like the hair, you just
Mm.
know. You know, you've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah, you know, it's a
How do you
classic
encourage her?
example. When my children, I remember sort of before my daughter was born, I had my 2 boys, just like cutting a mango, and it's like one boy has one cheek, the other boy has the other cheek, and I'm sucking on the seed. Like you're used to taking the scraps because you do anything you can to keep them happy and keep them alive. But then it can tip to becoming a slave to it. So my advice is do what you love still. Find the joy outside of the family, outside of your children. Don't give up on you. And I made the mistake of that. I overparented because of my situation where I hadn't been parented in a way that I needed. So then my sisters and I parented in a just all or nothing. It was just all about the kids, and I gave up on myself somewhat. So I think I wished I had have done more. I wished I had have gone back and done the study. I wish I had have done more back then, because now I'm 50. I'm like, oh God, I don't have enough time. I've got to. So
Mm.
I think do the work, get therapy, work on yourself, find your joy, find your joy outside of your family, and then the rest will follow, because you can still love your family and be the best mum ever. But then you're showing
Exactly.
your children the way. You're showing your children that and they want to see their mum happy. They want to see her fulfilled. They don't want a worn out, burnt out mum at the end of the day that's
Mm-mm-mm.
bending over backwards doing everything. They
That's
want to
right.
see her vibrant and happy and enjoying her best life too. So that would be my advice.
That is the best
Mm.
advice, and go to the gym for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and the gym, and see a good podiatrist. Oh,
I
Jade,
really love that.
thank you so much for this conversation. What really stands out is a reminder that reconnection often begins at the foundation by listening to the body and respecting how it's designed to support us. Your work invites such a gentle, more conscious relationship with movement and with the feet, and I know this will resonate deeply with so many listening. Thank you for sharing your beautiful insights and wisdom today. Where can people
Thank
find
you.
you?
You can connect with me at Rosewell by Dr. Jade on Instagram. I'm yet to make a TikTok account. My social media,
Me too.
my social media cheeky babe always tells me, dude, get on TikTok. I'm
Oh,
like, just one
so hard.
platform at a time, please. Like
Yeah,
full-time
yeah,
clinician work and then also doing social media is just
I
like,
hear you.
it's another full-time job.
I hear you. Jade, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.